Happy Sunday night, everyone. Welcome to Pat Nash Talks, where we have the conversations that create real relationships. So, welcome tonight. I have my co host, who you've all met several times. He's like family. I have Sir Michael. He's already popped in. Can you say hi to everyone tonight? I'm so glad to see you. Let me say that.
Good to see you too, Pat. Hi, everybody.
So he's like family here, you guys. So you know when he comes, it's like, oh, okay, so it's Michael. So
Yeah.
yes, thank you, Mr. Bradley, for joining us and blessing us. I know your life is extremely busy, and I'm excited about it. And hopefully soon, I will be making you busier, being a client myself, because
Okay.
the new year is rolling in.
Right.
And you already know most of us have a New Year's resolution to be fit and fine and fabulous and ready for the summer. And
Absolutely.
don't they say this is the time summer bodies are made or really prepped for summer?
Absolutely.
Or should we have started last summer?
It would have helped more to start last summer, but now's as good a time as any.
Yeah, might as well go on and get started now. Good, good, good. So I am, hey Dawn. So Dawn is saying, hey, good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
So I'm excited because it's the season. I love Christmas, Thanksgiving time with family and friends. This is my time. I don't know if it's the decorations and the food that may have something to do with it. It's just festive. So please forgive me. At least I'm not wearing a Santa Claus hat or nothing like that. But and I won't. But I do love this time of year. So Michael and I were talking earlier just a little bit about this being a special time for a lot of people. It's the best of times and the worst of times for some people. And one of the subjects we're going to talk about tonight is friends and family and relationships, especially this time of year. And hopefully I can get some tips from Michael. You guys, this is the beauty of this. We have not discussed this in depth, what you're going to talk about, what I'm going to talk about. We're having a conversation, a real life conversation. Hey, Kelly, we're having a real life conversation about how to juggle this and make better relationships, even now when the pressure's on for shopping and all the other stuff. So I'm not going to go over and over. I'm not going to go on and on and on. I'm going to ask Michael if he thinks it's a good subject and kind of why, because I kind of let out that it's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure this time of year, and going around family and friends can sometimes multiply it.
Yeah.
And so, do you want to share anything that when I said this is going to be the subject tonight, what came right off the top of your head about different people or situations that might need some discussion about this tonight?
I think it's an excellent topic because there's so many dynamics to this time of the year. Some people have major losses during this time of year. This is many people are depressed during this time of the year. Some people love it, like yourself. Then you have all of the dynamics of in-laws. Where are we going?
In
I want to host it. As opposed to going to the in-laws and your mom doesn't like me and all of those things and Aunt Sally can't I don't like her banana pudding and
How about I have a name Sally? I just left her house the other
oh
day.
yeah.
Yeah. But no, you're right. They say the in-laws and the outlaws. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard, it's rough. Um, you hit a very important thing when you said, and your family don't like me.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? I mean, because it's real. Like you have people who they love you, but they don't necessarily love your partner that you chose,
Right.
and they have to be nice to this person, but it's sometimes a nice nasty.
Yeah.
So let me just get your feedback. You're a man, because sometimes they say women can be emotional. So I can start talking about how I would deal with it. It might be a little different, but on the man side, how does that feel?
I mean, I've dealt with it. I've dealt with it personally.
Yeah.
And I'm just built differently. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't care. Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't
I
care
don't either, but
if your people don't like me. That's okay.
that's their problem.
I didn't
right?
pick them out. I'm not getting to know them.
That's
I would
that,
I would love to,
and I
but
didn't marry them.
right,
I married you. Some people that is hard for them.
right,
Kelly was like, do tell. So, real situation. I was married before. I'm not going to even say which family it was, but one of the families loved me, but they didn't love necessarily their own child that they was married to. I mean, that I was married to, because a lot of times your family will remember all your mess. You know what
right,
I'm saying? They have the history of all your mess.
right.
And so one of his family members were sitting there just warning me, well, you know, he's going to do this. Just watch out, because this is going to happen. It's going to happen. And I'm like, this is like the most awful thing ever, that you're here to have a good time and with the person that you came with, and the family is trying to warn you about them.
Right.
And so in my situation, I dealt with that like, oh, child, yeah, he's already done that. We got past that. You know, I'm just making up stuff.
Yeah.
And then I laughed and I was like, no, he didn't do that. And I do believe this. I do believe this. I said it. The person he was with them is not going to be the person he is with me. And he's going to have his own characteristics. But I think people know what you like and what you don't like. And if they love you, they're not going to keep giving you a lot of stuff that you don't like. They're just not, especially if it's a habit, something that can be changed. I never tell people to change the person, but old habits can be changed. Yeah, you got a habit of, I don't know, peeing on the toilet. You can change that. Uh, I'm just saying that's not what they were warning me about. But
Yeah.
the fact is, I just made that statement, and then I'm gonna say this. That I'm gonna let Michael give him an example. You don't have to give an example, but or something that you've heard. But I honestly had one of his old um, wives, his ex-wife, call me and said, "What did you do?" Because I could never get him to go to church. I could never get him to do this or do that. He wouldn't do anything with me, and now it looks like he's just trying to be this family man or this and this. And the point is, I'm not you.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Can I say that you don't change anybody, but the right person will adjust the sales a little bit for you, or maybe say, I want to be better to this person. I realize, you know, I was a butt back then.
Yeah.
I want to be better. I've grown up some, so I'm going to do things a little differently. So my point is, yes, we're not the same people. And so sometimes that person will treat you based on what, I guess, what kind of energy you give off. You have any kind of feedback on that, or what you allow, or what you know what I'm saying?
I think that plays a big part of it. What you allow. I'm fortunate. I love my in-laws. My in-laws
Yes.
love me, and it's sincere.
Yeah.
It's I think rare. It's a rare occasion, and I'm fortunate. But I haven't always had this. I've had situations where there was real strife when I came around. From I was dating this girl seriously, and before I met my wife, and her sister and I went to high school together. I mean,
Mhm.
it was that long ago. This girl was holding something from high school and just hated me.
Isn't that
I,
crazy? Oh
and
my
I
God.
came around. It was, I can't believe you. I mean, I can, it's a real conversation in front of me. Like, I'm not standing there. I can't believe you brought him there. He's so stuck up and blah blah blah. And I'm like, what?
For real? From high school?
I haven't seen you in 10 years. So what are you talking about? So people hold on to things
They do. They do.
from
Now let's talk about that a little bit, Michael. People hold on to things. So in a family situation, let's say, let's use me because I'm not married. Let's say I'm married. I show up at the family. We all love each other, but I just had a fight with my husband and I'm in disagreement. I don't agree that you should take those kind of discussions to the family, because long after you guys have worked things out, they're still going to remember and they're still going to be upset. And I'm not saying keep everything secret, but tell who you need to tell. Like, I don't need to tell my mom, who I know is going to be on my side, that my husband did something shady, or I suspect he's doing something shady, because long after I have figured out and trust him and we're doing what we need to do and we're back in good, she's going to be looking at him one eyed like, I don't trust him. Remember the last time you said he was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think those conversations need to be had with family, especially if you don't want them to remember that person. I mean, no, I would say if you're going to stay with them, don't take all your trash to them. Don't talk about them. If you're going to stay with them, you look bad when you talk about how horrible they are and what they've said to you and done to you. And you told people who are closest to you, your family. And now when you guys come over, the holidays are different. It's like, I don't like this dude, or I don't like this girl. I know what she's doing. And now you want them to be okay with them because they're uncomfortable and they don't want to come around anymore. So that's why it's not a good idea. Let's see what Todd is saying. He said, but one can say gaining insight into how a person grew up, their friends and family can sometimes give perspective on their tendencies and how they respond to things. True.
True. Very true.
Yeah, true. To an extent, Todd, it's funny you say that because I was going to ask you this too, Michael. Hey, Bert. uh, I was going to say this before Todd even mentioned that. You know, they say before you marry someone, spend time with their family, examine where they came from because the apple don't fall far from the tree. That is not always true.
It's not always true.
And a lot of times, I would say probably 80% of the time, that is so not true. It's not, because people are individuals. You could raise them right, and they still gonna do whatever they want to do.
Absolutely.
Trust me, I know. I have two sons. I have two sons, and they couldn't be different night and day. But the point is, you can't always count on that. I mean, so Ty, yes, you can get some perspective or insight into their tendencies. But at the same time, I've learned this because I've been divorced before, right? A couple of times. I don't care how close you are to that family and how much they love you. When you're no longer, quote, family, things change.
Yeah.
Things change because you're optional family. The person who was born or is a relative of theirs is always going to have that bloodline, even if they don't agree with what they're doing. And a lot of times they will move with them. Yes, the family puts on facades too. Yes. But they're going to be moving with them with whoever they come with. And so they have to be considerate of that new person. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, even though he may not have been the favorite person in the family, I'm not no longer in the family. So I can't just come around like I used to. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, family could give you insight, but it could be something totally different. So, Michael, if you were not married and you're a man, how big does that weigh on you when you meet the parents, maybe the siblings, and you're watching how they move? How do you deal with that?
That's going to be my thing. I'm going to watch everything. I'm not asking her family nothing.
I'm like, no, I'm gonna look at it for myself.
Yeah, I want to see how she interacts with her dad. If she has a father, I want to see how she interacts with him. If she respects him, you know, how long the mother and father have been married. If they're married, those are the dynamics I'm going to look at, and just get to know her. I'm not one of these people that are going to go through the family. I'm just not.
No, you, because sometimes they'll tell you stuff that's not really real either. Yeah. Hey, sissy, my big sister just jumped on too. So, with that being the case, now we don't necessarily, we watch. I love what you said. I'm not asking nobody nothing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use my own gut, my own intuition, and look and watch interaction, how they deal with each other, how they deal with problems, how they deal with this. Let me tell you why. To me, it can be deceptive. Okay, it's 9 of us, right? Bert said he agreed with you, Mike. He ain't asking a thing. He's just with the eyes. But women will sometimes ask in a playful way, like, how is he growing up? Because he's spoiled. Did y'all spoil him? No, don't let him tell you that. He ain't spoiled. He did, so he's just playing that on you. Sometimes people will say stuff like that, just jokingly asking how people were, but it's hard for me because I grew up, it's 9 of us, right? And my parents were married and were together since they were very young, and they never divorced. They went through all kinds of stuff, and they stayed together, right? So when people meet me, and I have been divorced before a couple times, they would be like, but you came from a long marriage. So, why did those principles not? Because, like you said, you look at them like, okay, their parents been together for a long time. So they understand marriage and what it takes to be together for a long time, right? I think sometimes women, back then, and men had a thing, is cheaper to keep her. I'm not trying to pay child support for 8 kids. I'm keeping her. And a woman was same way. It's like, hey, I know his mess. I mean, I know the other guy's mess. So I'm just going to stay with, I'm happy or not. We'll figure this thing out. And so I think they had a little bit more stick to itness than maybe some of the couples do today. But I'm trying to get to the point that it's hard to look at someone who has parents that have been around for a long time and say their parents have been married for a long time, so they're probably the type that will go through anything with you and still be here. You know what I'm saying? So is that an indicator? I mean,
Well, I think it's a plus that they have that in their background, but I don't think that it's a surefire tell that they're going to be willing to stay and fight for the marriage,
Mhm.
because you can't fight for the other person. The other person quits. It doesn't matter what your background is. You're going to get a divorce if the
Thank
other
you,
person
Mike.
doesn't want.
Thank you for being real, because I hear all the time. I have a cousin I'm really, really close to, and it's a male, and he's saying that, he's like, Pat, my wife dealt with a lot with me, and but she stayed, and it was to a benefit. You couldn't have stayed, you couldn't have done that. And what I explained to him, everybody's situation is different. This is why you can't judge
Right.
relationships. I mean, even though I may have initiated it, I may know what my point is. I'm never going to be one of those snapped women that just go crazy and kill somebody, because I'm like, why are you killing somebody? Now you're going to go to jail. You could have just left. You know what I'm saying? You could have just started your life out. I'm built different, because I'm like, hey, my dad said to me, baby, anything you wasn't born with, you ain't got to have.
Mhm.
So any man that feels like, so I can't blame him, God rest his soul, but any man that feels like you're not enough, you don't need him. I mean, if he is not treating you like your daddy would treat you, I'm here. You have not wanted for anything. If he cannot treat you with the same respect that I treat you with, I think you made a bad choice, and you may need to check him on it, get him straight before I do, or you may need to do something else. I'm never going to tell you to stay where you're being abused, because if you don't know how to properly use an asset, you abuse it. That's what abuse is. So I'm not going to ever tell you to do that. And so there's differences too, you guys. I honestly, some men, what they put their women through, they don't even want their daughters to go through it.
Absolutely not.
Let's keep it real. They don't want their daughters to go through what they put their women through,
Right.
and they will tell you that. And on that same line, Michael, do you have children?
I do have two sons.
Okay, same thing with you. You know how to treat a woman. You're going to tell your sons what they should and shouldn't do. But how much
Absolutely.
control do you have over them at this point?
Absolutely none.
That's my point.
They're adults, but we have those conversations all the time. Just to reiterate, hey, they have girlfriends, and I ask them, hey, what I if the girlfriend is with them, I ask them in front of them, how's he treating you? Is he treating you good? And
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, I put them
I
on the spot.
appreciate that. You put him on blast,
Yeah,
like you ain't treating her right, man. I
right.
taught you better than that. I
We
love
have
that.
yeah,
We, we have a comment by Kelly Hawkins. She said, I can't stand the comparisons. Sometimes they put so much pressure on someone to be married. Sometimes in marriage, there are some things that are just not forgivable to us. that may have been tolerated by them.
Yeah, I think I agree with her, or is it a him?
That's a her. That was
Okay,
Kelly.
yeah,
That was Kelly. Some things that other people can just live with, other people can't.
we're all different. You know, you can't say because you were willing to take a thing that everyone should accept that thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And Bert says, Bert's trying to start some trouble. Bert says he's heard people say they would be a widow before they would ever be divorced. And that's some serious stuff right there.
Yeah,
Because if you think about it, they're saying, I'll kill you before I will let you go. I'm
yeah,
like, I don't agree with that though. It's
no,
like divorce is not the worst thing that can happen to you.
no.
Because you can really be divorced and be living with somebody that is your husband. So think about that when you get home. Yeah, you can be living divorced with someone. That's why these days, as a single person, and somebody asks you, are you single? There is a such thing as single, and there's a such thing as single. Because some people think if you show up to a party together, you're single. No, you're not. You're married. You got a whole wife at home, sir. You are not single. You may have come alone, but you're not single.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm alone. You see anybody with me? You see a ring on? No, that doesn't mean anything. You're not single. You showed up alone, but you're not single. So that's an ongoing joke with with ladies, like, are you single? Meaning, are you in a marriage? Are you separated? Are you going through something? Are you, because they have to name all the categories to make sure they catch it. Todd says, when you ask how he's treating you, it hits differently when you ask him that in front of the daughters.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah, Todd has daughters, so he's like, he asks, if he's asking the guys, hey, how is he treating you? Now all of a sudden they're like, dang, I want them to have a good answer when they show up next time with their daddy. That, oh, it's all good, it's great.
Yeah,
Like Pinky said on Friday, he had a girlfriend and a wife on the side.
yeah.
See, Bert, I'm trying to make sure we stay like this, but you're trying to pull me in. I'm not gonna do it. Not tonight. Mike is here. He's keeping me on the straight and narrow. So I'm not doing it. I am not gonna do it. So let's do this, Mike, if you will. If
Mhm.
you're a man and you're giving men advice on the holidays and hanging out with the wife and the wife's family, what would be some things that you could tell them that, especially since you're in, I mean, your in-laws love you, that you could tell them that would probably help in that type of situation?
Well, what works for me, I'll tell them what works for me, right?
Okay,
Is
good.
I I let her do her. I don't make her feel obligated to make sure that I'm okay and that I have
Right.
to fit in. I don't, I do my own thing, Pat. So she knows she doesn't have to babysit me. You
I
know,
love
I'm gonna find some food and find a seat. I'm gonna laugh and I can talk to anybody. So there's gonna be someone in the room I'm gonna have a conversation with. So I'm good. And she can go enjoy her family
okay.
uninterrupted.
I love that. She don't have to babysit you in a room. So I was having this conversation too. Um, Going someplace, I don't have to be babysitted. So when I go in, I'm going to connect, I'm going to make friends, I'm going to always have something to talk about, and or I'm going to know when this is a good time for me to just chill and
Mhm.
just observe and nod my head and say hey and not say too much, because
Right,
sometimes people are looking for something for you to say wrong or to get some insight.
right.
I've had people come and drill me because they didn't know who I was in a dating situation. Okay, so who are you? When which one are you? And can I take a picture with you? Or yeah, this, if I put a picture up, this picture, he'll be crying laughing when he hear me. If I put a picture up of her, is it gonna be okay for it to be here next week? I just want to know. Some people will bust you out like that.
Mhm.
So um my advice, Mike, that was great. Be yourself. And don't be, in a family environment. I don't know. Some people's personalities are different. They're not like
Right.
yours. They're
Right.
not like mine. They need somebody. Like when I go, stay close to me because I don't know these people. I don't want to be, awkward and not, they don't know how to mix or mingle or whatever. So I would say if that is you, make sure all that stuff is talked about before you leave the house. So you ain't mad when you get there. You just left me and set me in the corner. No, if I say move, if I move, you move. Since you can't be by yourself, stay close to me, shadow me. I'll introduce you as we move. But no, that's not cool to make somebody responsible for entertaining you when they got the whole family that they gotta see and they gotta be with. So
But Pat, let me interject right there because I have to play devil's advocate right here. Right?
okay, okay.
Because the other side of that is if you know your person is, let's say, introverted, and
Hmm.
you know this, then you have to take that in consideration before you take them around your family.
Right.
You have to keep that in mind that, hey, I have to move a certain way to make sure that they're comfortable because you've been informed that, hey, this is how, they can't be left in a corner. They
That's
can't fend for themselves. They're gonna feel inadequate. They're gonna feel like you left them to drown. And if you do, then that should be an argument. That should be a conversation on the way home.
yeah, and that's why I don't take people like that around my family. No, I'm just joking. No, I'm not really joking because I have to know that they can hold it down because my family is so talkative. I'm not the only one.
Mhm.
That they're going to be in their face. They may feel uncomfortable and they'd be like, "You know what? I don't want to take you to that. We're going to go to this event because I know it's going to be less people. Maybe I'll take you to my Aunt Sally's house." Only be one or two of us there. It's gonna be a lot more calm than taking you to like maybe my baby sister's house, where I know we're gonna turn up and it's gonna be very loud. So I think you would choose where you want to take them good advice. If you know who you love and who you're attached to, you can't change them. You can't make them you.
Right.
You have to entertain based on the personality of the person.
Yeah.
See, that's why you're here to keep me straight. Because I'll be like, look, I'm not taking nobody who don't know how to don't, don't know how to make it make it in a make it in the chaos worlds where we're gonna come across when we get in certain situations. But so I know it's always gonna be like not enough time to talk about everything that we want to talk about. So I'm gonna do this too. I'm gonna say some advice for the holidays, especially to people who have lost people. Let me like you said, Michael, I can give my own testimony. I can't tell people how they should behave or how they should be responding right now. I've lost my both my parents, a couple of my little younger brothers, a lot of people I love, good friends that I love in my life. And if I choose, this could be a hard time for me, especially being single and there's not a lot of kids running around and trust me, it's not bothering me. Don't send your babies over here. I'm good. But I'm just I'm just saying it's not a lot of moving parts that I'm used to, but I still decorate from the front door to the bedroom because I love that part and it makes me feel good. It doesn't make me feel sad. So I would say during this season, find something that you love about the season and do it. Do it for you, not because you have someone coming over or little kids. I mean, you can do it for that reason too, but do it for you. Focus on things that make you happy during this season when you could really be sad. Focus on stuff that make you happy, and regrets and things that you did wrong in the past is not one of them. You can't do anything about that. The only thing you can do going forward, how to look forward and have enjoy the holiday and remember the little things, make new memories. That's what I'm doing. I'm making new memories and new traditions, because the old ones don't work. That's not my life now. I don't have little kids in the house, so old ones don't work. So I don't know, I could be on the beach for Christmas if I chose to, but do something that makes you happy and that makes you want to welcome the season. Think about it, right, Grace? Right. Do things that make you happy. And if you want to remember loved ones that are left, remember the good memories during this time. Not to look back and regret that they're not here, but to look back and be grateful that you had them. So instead of looking back with regret, let's look back with gratefulness for whatever time we had and whatever joy that we had with that person. That helps. And find the things that you love in the season. Michael, what about you? You have any advice for people that are feeling that right now?
I mean, you pretty much summed it up, Pat. To summon those wonderful thoughts, all of the great times you had together. Um, More than anything, man, I don't I don't go places that don't feed me, right? That don't feed me
Say that. Say that.
intellectually.
Yeah, say that.
If it doesn't feed me intellectually, emotionally, if there's not a great vibe,
Yes.
if it's a part of her family, um, I'll let her go alone. Hey, go have fun with your people. I'm good. I don't have to go everywhere.
Yeah.
You
I
can
had
still enjoy the holidays without me going every place. I don't take it. There's some family members I don't take. We don't really hang out around. That's my family. Just we'll stay at bay because I'm not going to put myself in any space, family, friends, it doesn't matter, that is going to be draining. And I
good.
think that's what we have to be better at.
Oh my God, yes, because some people will go because they feel obligated, but then they feel so much worse when they go. One of the sisters says she don't put pressure on herself this time of year. She's choosing to make herself happy. So she don't have the pressure or desire to celebrate or decorate.
Yeah.
But see what I'm saying? I like the decoration. So I decorate because that makes me feel joyful. I'm like surrounded by pretty glistening things. That's the girly stuff. That's not I said that's the punk girly stuff that I do. But anyway, so the thing is, you said something very important. I don't want to gloss over that, Mike. You said let her go alone.
Yeah.
Let her go by herself and enjoy it. So she don't have to be looking at your face like you're not having fun or feel drawn like I have to be over here and then I have to be over here. That's kind of what I was saying. Don't make them be uncomfortable because you're not comfortable in it. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's okay to not go. Now
Right.
you do know, now I'm gonna be the devil's advocate on this. You do know if I have to go by myself or he has to go by himself, it's like that shouldn't be an 8-hour trip. Like I'm alone and them people don't like me. So I'm going by to show my respect because hey, my boo is at home and I'm gonna go by and love on y'all a little bit, but y'all make him uncomfortable. He don't be here, so I can't stay here that long because he chilling at the house. So I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna say hey to everybody, hug on everybody, do some things, but I'm not gonna be here 8 hours, 2 days. Well, unless that's something that I hate to say no, unless that's something that people have come to an agreement. Go spend the weekend with them and then come back or whatever, but I'm not going.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like if you making my person feel uncomfortable, I don't want them to think that that's okay either. You know what I'm saying?
I, I do. But for me, sometimes I don't feel like I need to be at everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't
As long
want.
as that's okay with her. Yeah.
Right. And I want her to feel like she has to drag me to anything.
Right.
Right. We do a lot together, and I make sure that she has her time to do her own thing.
Yes.
And sometimes, I want to sit home and watch Snapped, at first 48 and Forensic Files. Those are my shows I like to watch, and I can binge watch it while she does her thing.
Yeah, yeah, as a bird said, show up a little, bounce, have some fun, and bounce. Now that's how I would handle it because, especially if I know, hey, my man don't appreciate them, and they don't, they can take him or leave him. So I want to see them. But sometimes let's face it, the energy is bad for a reason. You don't want to be around it for a reason. It's not good for anyone. Real situation that came to me, the energy is toxic at the in-laws house, but the man and the woman are both going to, because that's in-laws, right?
Mhm.
That's the parents of one of them. So they go and they're fighting for the next week because it was just that bad. It was just that toxic. They fight and now y'all fighting because you went. I mean, sometimes it really is that toxic. And I think in that situation, I think you should agree that, hey, we both don't have to go. why should both of us be jacked up? Maybe one of us can come home and the other one can heal the other one.
But in that
I can
situation,
heal you.
I wouldn't go. If it
See,
was my family and it was toxic, I wouldn't go.
but what if it's her family and she wants you to go?
I would go because of my personality. It'll be okay
Yeah.
because I'll be like, hey man, I don't like none of y'all either. So where's the eggnog?
pass the pass the eggnog and give me some of the dressing that my wife made. I know
Yeah,
that's good. Give me.
I'm
So
just
that's
built differently.
yeah. It's and honestly, I think it's a level of maturity, honestly, because you have to realize these people are not going home with me. I
Right,
didn't marry these people.
right,
Okay, I did not choose these people. I chose you, and at that point, it's me and you. So I think what the at that point it's me and you against the world, not
exactly.
not honestly, your family, I love them. I could take them or leave them, but I am here with you.
Mhm.
Every Don says every relationship needs time to breathe, even if it's just for a few hours. I love that. Yes, I
Absolutely,
agree. I
absolutely,
agree.
Don.
So what you're saying about, hey, you go ahead and go there to give me some time to binge watch,
Yeah,
but think about the ease that takes off of her shoulders.
yeah,
I don't need to worry about him. So if I want to really go and gossip with my sisters or hang out or listen to my parents fight, I don't have to worry about him being upset about it. He's doing what he want to do, I'm doing what I want to do, and we
right.
come back home, it's going to be all good.
It's all
Uh,
good.
it's going to be all good. So if y'all are listening, couple, don't make the other person go all the time if you know it's going to be a bad situation and you're going to bring that noise or that unpeace or unrest back to your home. And if you know it's happening over and over and over again, chances are, I'm not going to say things don't change. Chances are it's going to happen again.
Right.
So you have to figure out how to deal with it. Bert was saying he was talking with a friend of his. He doesn't get along with his in-laws. On holiday, he stays at home while his girl visits her family. Yeah, I mean, that's something that's been worked out though. So whatever works for you, don't be under pressure to feel like you have to do everything every minute with your spouse. And see, here I go again saying stuff, and other people might be like, well, I want to be there.
Right.
For me, I don't have to be there every minute with them. So I can chill and be like, no, you go. No, really, you go. Have fun.
Right.
I'm good. You worried about me? Call, check on me. Yes, I'm good. I've started season 2 of whatever I'm watching. I'm binge watching right now. So I'm good. The point is, I think, Mike, is what is agreed upon between you two. It has nothing to do with your family. It
Right.
has nothing to do with your friends. And I'm not saying you don't love them, respect them, and have a place of honor for them, because it's important to know that they're going to be there for you. They support you. They love you. But at the end of the day, leave and cleave is the word. You're supposed to bond with that person and learn to do life together. Together, the two of you, not you and your parents and them, not
Right.
you and your sister and them, the two of you. So, whatever it takes for you two to be together on one accord. I was telling Angee earlier today, how can two people walk together unless they agree anyway?
Right.
You have to be in agreement to move through this thing called life. So, as long as you agree, hey, how do we say, if you like it, I love it? Whatever is good for you in your house, it's good for you in your house. Just be careful that you don't make those rules in somebody else's house.
Right.
That's my thing, because it doesn't work that way. Um, all right, so
Yeah.
you want to add anything to the compromising situation with parents? I mean, with not just parents, with family.
I would just add that includes the kids.
Oh Lord! Now you
Yeah.
know we have to do a whole series on kids.
That includes the kids too.
Kids run things in people's
Yeah.
households.
Yeah.
It's
And
sad to me,
it's
but
ridiculous. It's
it's
ridiculous.
it is. Hey Charlotte, no, that's what I'm saying to you. That would have to be a whole series. I literally, you and I got into it a little bit, And someone said you need to do a whole series on how to be an adult parent. Now, I'm not saying it's not happening to young kids too. I see it every day where kids are in fights with couples. They know more about the man than anybody because they didn't heard the mamas talk about him on the phone. So now they mad at dad and they responding to him disrespectful because they're mad what he did. So the kids start running things and they start playing you against each other. And at that point they've won, but they lost at the same time because it's an uncomfortable spot for a kid to be in the middle. And you put them there by making them grown and putting them in your business when they don't really belong there.
Yeah. What's that comment?
It says it also depends on how long the couple has been married. In some cases, the spouse going by themselves and the marriage is new may be another issue. I can see that because honestly, if it's a new breakup and you bring in a new woman around, some people are not ready to meet a new woman, and they may even be inviting the old woman over
Right.
because you know what I'm saying. So she's right. It can be those kind of things need to be talked about too. How do you respond in those situations when your family doesn't give up on the person you let go of, and they keep bringing them around and causing trouble in your marriage? You can't stand for that either. But honestly, Michael, we probably need to do a show on how to be a parent. Now, we're going to get a lot of amens, but we're going to get a lot of people who will be furious.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how they grew up. And so anytime you're raising your child in a dysfunctional situation because of how you grew up, you need to seek counseling. I'm sorry, you need to seek a trusted person that you know can help you through that. Hey, King, Kurt, you need to find a trusted person to help you through that, because I know women who will listen to their children, and children lie too.
Yeah.
Who will listen to their children who are just trying to bring a wedge between the two of you because they get their way when you're mad. They don't understand the seriousness of constantly making their parents fight. They don't understand that. But they will make up stuff and they will do stuff that is not right and blame the woman and the husband and everything else. I had a close family member whose son just opened all his Christmas presents last night. And he said his daddy told him to do it. So when his daddy got in front of the mama, he says, "I didn't tell you to do that. You said your mama said you could do that."
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying? So she's mad because she said the daddy said for him to open all his presents. And then he's like, "I'm not fitting to fight your mama. If she told you to do it, you do it." You see what I'm saying? So you have a child manipulating two grown people. I'm like, who's the parents in this house? That joker would not be able to touch them. He would not get them. They would go back.
Yeah.
If you rely on me. See, it's like it takes serious work and effort to be a parent.
But
sometimes it's easier not to parent a child, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, they're not built like that anymore.
Yeah,
They're not built like that anymore.
the parent.
Yeah, the parents,
It's hard to watch. I ain't gonna lie.
What was that big comment?
It says disrespectful kids are a red flag for a real. I was in a situation where I was really feeling a female and her kids are out of control. I couldn't do it. I had to leave her alone.
Absolutely. Walk away. Walk away.
And it's sad because you look at them and you're like, really, if you just keep your word, and don't buckle down and don't give in and don't buy into the emotional crap and do what you say with your children, they honestly will get over the fit that they're throwing and they will be okay. But you are never going to get control of a child who you promise that they will be in trouble if they do something and they do it and there's no consequences. Where there is no consequences, there is no correction in behavior, period. And it takes somebody with guts. It takes someone who is not a coward. It takes a real superhero to ignore the tears and the ranting and raving and do what you say, even if it hurts you to see them upset. You want to see them happy. You have to teach them early that breaking rules bring consequences.
Absolutely.
And because you might wink at it and you might not want to see them cry, but if they get pulled over by the cops or anyone else, they're not going to care about those tears.
No.
The temper tantrum is just going to get them more time. So you really have a responsibility to correct their behavior now while they're in your care, so that when they get out in the world, they don't have to do it, because they will correct your lack of correction for you, but you won't like it. You will see your son or your daughter locked away or killed or, worse, because you did not want to hurt their feelings or see them cry. Guess what? That's life. Life is disappointments and consequences. You can you are free to make any decision you want, but you are not free to get away from the consequences of it. And I think the sooner we teach the children that, and the big folks and the grown folks that, the sooner they're going to be okay. And I like you said, I don't know, Mike, what age did that stop? Because I'm seeing every age that should know better and hold them accountable and do what they say they're going to do. Todd said, hold yourself accountable as a parent. Then you can hold your children accountable as humans because they see it in you. Yes. I agree. And sometimes they don't follow your they don't follow your lead because they want to make sure you understand they can do what they want to do and how they want to do it. I see what you're doing. I see you getting up and going to work every day. You're being responsible. You're showing up on time. But I'm not doing all that. That's not me. I'm doing, but I'm paying for you not being responsible. So you're free to be irresponsible, but I'm just not paying for it. How about that? So even I'm gonna hold myself accountable for making sure I pay my bills. You're not doing it. So I'm gonna have to let you feel that. You're gonna have to experience what it's like to not be responsible and fall on your face a couple times so you can learn it. But people don't want their kids to fall. They're like, I want them to have more than I had. I want them to experience more than I experienced. But the difference is you're a responsible person and you're making them irresponsible.
Yeah. And it's a relationship killer. It's a marriage killer. It
is
as good as any.
Yes. And I won't do that either. I will not enter in. I'm not married, but I would not connect myself to someone whose children are out of control or they run them. I have no desire to be under someone who is run by children.
Right.
It's like, oh no, I'm not doing that, because I will end up in jail, and I'm not doing that. I am not getting ready to color my hair every week for the grays. I'm not doing that. So it's gonna be a no for me. I'm kind of like Bert. It's a no for me too, Bert. Disrespect kids and adults that do not know how to hold them accountable and deal with them in that situation. They have no business bringing another human into a situation that they have fouled up. And like I say, you may think everything is good and everything's wonderful and give your kids excuses for their behavior, but the world is not going to do that. The world is not going to do that.
Right.
Oh, no is right. No is right. It's a no for me. And then being an empty nester too. If you were entering into a relationship where someone had very respectful children and were might be, no, not for me, but I mean, in other situations, it might be something people would look at. But if they're there and they're out of control and somebody looking at you like, tell them to do, you see how they do me? Tell them to stop. And I'm like, these are your children. If they're not listening to you, why would they listen to me? And sometimes just the parent in me makes me say, okay, now your mama has said 3 times that you need to sit down.
Right.
I need you to go sit your behind in that chair over there. And just the way I said it, they're looking at me like, I'm going to go sit down because I don't know what you would do.
Right.
But I know we got to get out of here. Time always goes faster than I want it to go because we enjoy talking to you. So, Michael, I want to say happy holidays to you because I don't know if you will be back before the end of the year, and happy new year and all of that. But we're coming back and we're going to talk about the kids situation. And I think we should make it, it's going to have to be more than a one-part series because an
Yes.
hour is not enough to talk about relationships, and even if they're bad, how to bring it back. So how do you feel about that? I have to
Oh,
ask.
I would love it. Looking forward to it, and Happy New Year and Merry Christmas, all that good stuff to you too.
Okay, please tell the wife thank you again for sharing you with us.
I
And
will.
you all have a happy holiday. I should see you a couple of times. The month is not over. What do we got? About um, three more Sundays in this month.
I think so.
Three or four. Three more Sundays, I think, in this month. So I will see you next Sunday. Life lasts, Lord permits. I will see you next Sunday, and we will see Michael soon when we talk about parenting at all ages and all stages. That should be fun.
Yeah.
Get your red cup and your popcorn. It should be fun. Okay, with that being said, we love you all, and I wish you always love and light, peace and blessings. And Michael, you want to say goodbye? I think you did, but I didn't know.
Guys, it's been great. Have a good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Pat Nash, and I want to speak to you a little bit about dreams, about hope, about maybe giving up or wondering why you haven't moved forward. Someone asked me, how did you get here to be a relationship coach? It actually came out of a need for myself and what I observed looking around after I asked myself a couple of questions. Why was I not doing the things that I wanted to do? Why had I gone through divorce? Why am I not doing anything that I set out to do? You see, as a teenager, as a young person, doing pretty well in high school, I had all of these dreams set out for me. I was going to take over the world. But at some point, life happened. I realized I was not the only one. You see, there's a lot of us who stopped hoping, who stopped dreaming, who stopped chasing our dreams or going after our dreams because we don't have to chase anything. When we look internally and figure out what it is that's holding us back, the sky's the limit, and you don't have to chase anything. You're attracted